Hello, and welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm teacher Oakley, and for this hour's class, we are going to jump into conditional sentences. We'll learn all about them. We'll kind of alternate between discussing them and trying some exercises to make sure we understand what's going on with conditional sentences is the subject of the day. All right, let me start out by welcoming students to the class. Hello, Dawn. Welcome.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Glad to hear it. Super, thanks for joining. And hello, Vincenzo.
Hi, teacher. Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Late in the afternoon for me, but
Okay,
good afternoon to you.
So, good afternoon.
Oh, thank you. Okay. In case there's any other Verbling students out there watching the broadcast, plenty of room in the class. Come on in and join us anytime. And welcome you to join at any time. As a matter of fact, Sandra has joined us. Hello, Sandra.
Hello. Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. Welcome to the class. All right. Let's get started, shall we? Okay. Let's look at the conditionals. We're going to try to do them all. Conditional 1, 2, and 3. Now, some folks, some teachers, some grammar books, some people teach the 0 conditional, and sometimes other textbooks and other teachers will include the 0 conditional as part of conditional number 1. I'll talk about the small difference in just a second. The real conditional, or conditional number 1, is used for real, or what the speaker thinks are possible situations. These situations will take place if a certain condition is met. Actually, well, you know, I've taught this lesson before, and I just realized just now, this last sentence here, these situations take place, okay, using the present simple tense, if a certain condition is met. Also, present simple tense. This is what some people call the 0 conditional. Okay, with both the condition and the result clause, 2 clauses, all right, make a conditional sentence with a connective if or possibly unless. Unless is basically negative if. Okay, in the 0 conditional, both clauses are in the present simple. We use what's called the 0 conditional when it's basically a fact, and pretty, or again, it's considered by the speaker to be a fact. If the sky is pure blue, it is not going to rain. Well, okay. Usually it takes clouds to make rain, so I would consider that pretty much factual. If you throw water on me, I get wet. Okay. Cut me and I bleed. If you cut me, I bleed. Now, all right, certainly any of these examples I'm giving can also be the conditional number 1. In other words, I could say these situations will take place if a certain condition is met. If you cut me, I will bleed. If you throw water on me, I will get wet. What is the difference? I'm using a future tense with the in the result clause. Okay, that's the only difference between the 0 conditional and the first conditional. Again, some grammar material you will hear doesn't even talk about 0 conditional. So whatever. Another point that I actually have to make, it is the first conditional is used for real or possible situations. The important factor here, as we talk about conditionals, and you guys are going to do some exercises later, the important fact of the matter is it has to be real or unreal in the mind of the speaker. If you're a complete lunatic, you can use a real conditional for completely impossible situations and still be grammatically correct. It's all about the way the speaker thinks. It's not about reality. And frankly, lots of English verb tenses and sentence constructions are entirely dependent on how the speaker is thinking about it when they say it. It is not contingent on any known basis in reality as you may see it. All right? So let's try to avoid the philosophical discussions about whether something is real or unreal, because it's pointless. There is no point in having these kinds of discussions because it's all up to the speaker. Okay. In conditional number one, we often use unless. That's true, which basically means if not. So you should be aware of that. Sentences like, unless he hurries up, he will be late. Okay. It is also possible to, instead of unless, use if he doesn't hurry up, he will be late. That's fine. All right, in the first conditional, it is considered that the condition, or the if clause, is a very real condition. If it rains, we will stay at home. Fine. Notice the verb tenses. Regardless, zero conditional or first conditional, the if clause is present simple. Very important. First conditional, we have the simple future tense here. We will stay at home. With unless, he will arrive late unless he hurries up. Peter will buy a new car if he gets his raise. Always will buy if he gets his raise. And notice that sometimes we flip-flop, switch back and forth our condition and our result clause. So there it is. You can also put the result clause first without using a comma between the clauses. So it's perfectly normal to do this. If he finishes on time, we will go to the movies. We will go to the movies. If he finishes on time, the only difference in written English, you need to have a comma if you have a subordinate clause or dependent clause first. There is no difference whatsoever in meaning of these two sentences here. Okay, so that's the first conditional. Let's pause before we move on to the second conditional and maybe try an exercise to make sure we understand this. And also, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome Ken. Hi, Ken.
Yes.
How are you today? Hello. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Well, okay, just a little bit more, and then we'll try an exercise or two. Okay, let me just share this information with you. Just a little bit more info here. Okay, hang on, sorry. All right. Looking at some example sentences to further understand the use. If I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry during class. Simple present is used in the result clause to express a habitual activity or situation. So I mentioned something that the speaker considers just as a truism. All right, I suppose if it's a habit and it has happened to this individual day after day after day, he would consider this as a truism. I always get hungry during class. All right, again, some people you may be taught or you may have been taught that this is called the zero conditional. Fine. Okay. Water freezes or water will freeze if the temperature goes below 32. Again, obviously, an established predictable fact. Considered a truism. And the last two here, we're talking about possibilities. If I don't eat breakfast tomorrow, I will get hungry during class. If the weather is nice tomorrow, we will go on a picnic. It is a possibility, but the speaker considers it to be a realistic possibility. Okay. All right, let's try a couple exercises maybe. Let's see. All right. Well, that one's kind of easy. Well, all right, we need to warm up maybe. We can do a couple. Okay, so Don, a little mix and match. Connect the phrases to make a sentence. Okay, starting with number 1 here.
If you hide behind a tree, mm,
Which one is the most logical over here for you? On the ABC here.
he will see you? No.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes. That's the most logical of the bunch, absolutely. Don't be shy, Don, about practicing your English in classes and wherever you can using the contracted form. Really, you should. Native speakers do. We basically always do. It sounds a little too formal and it doesn't sound right. And I instantly would know, oh, you're not a native speaker. I actually would assume that you're probably intermediate or under if you do not do it. All right, so if you hide behind a tree, he'll see you. He'll see you. And it kind of sounds like hill, H-I-L-L. He'll see you. All right, so get used to, I would advise you to get used to pronouncing the contracted forms, the reduced forms of contractions, like heel, like this. Okay, Vincenzo, you want to take the next one here?
Yes. If you don't hurry, we'll be late.
Okay, terrific. That absolutely makes sense. All right, Sandra, how about number 3?
If you read more books, you'll know more words.
Okay, that one makes sense to me as well. Great. Ken, number 4.
If they don't do their homework,
Okay, how about number 4?
and I'm so sorry. If she doesn't eat, she'll be hungry.
All right, she'll be hungry. She'll be hungry.
She'll be hungry.
Sounds like she'll. She'll be hungry. Yeah, all right. Again, the contracted form. Roberto, welcome to the class. Hello, hello.
Thank you, teacher. Hi.
Hi. I'm going to throw you right in. You want to try number 5?
If they don't do the homework, the teacher will be angry.
Yes, angry. Not hangry. Okay. All right, now let's concern ourselves with the verb tense. All right, let me welcome Nader to the class. Hello, Nader. How are you? Nader, are you ready to jump in? Not sure if you're connected or... okay. Okay, all right, let's try it. Okay, great. I'm fine, by the way, thank you. All right, if you blank, You blank a bad mark. All right. If you do not behave, all right. Simple present tense, if you do not behave, you will get a bad mark. All right, that's it. Simple enough. All right. Dawn, can you try number 2?
Yes. If she uh if she wet raincoat, she don't get wet.
Okay, Dawn. If she, first of all, we got to conjugate our verb. She wears. I wear,
Wear.
they wear. She or he wears a
Okay.
raincoat. Okay. Okay, and we have to use not here. And remember, in our result clause, we're going to use will. All right?
Okay.
All right? So she will not get wet. What is the contraction of will not, Don?
Il
No. Won't.
won't.
She won't get
She
wet.
won't get wet.
She won't get wet. All right. That's it. Vincenzo, can you try number 3?
Yes, and I would like to ask about the pronunciation want and want. No, want is a closed O or not. She won't or she
Here.
won't.
Okay, let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
As President Bush Sr. once said, read my lips. No
Yeah.
new taxes. He lied. Anyway, won't. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Want.
Okay, now want. I want some ice cream. I want some ice cream.
Okay,
Whoa.
more open. Yes. Want.
Wow.
Want. Okay.
There you go. Sure.
Okay.
All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. All right.
Yeah.
Let's try number 3.
Number 3. Not talk to you if you not keep my secret. If you, I won't talk to you if you don't keep my secret.
Perfect. That is it. Okay, if you don't keep my secret, in this one, the condition and the result have been reversed, but the verb tenses remain the same. Okay, great. Actually, a little side note here. If in English is considered to be a time subordinator, it belongs in the same class as before, after, when, as soon as, until, and others that has something to do with time. If and unless are actually considered time subordinators. And in English, in conditional sentences or any other sentences at all, whether it's a conditional sentence or not, you can never, ever, 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 never, ever use any future tense with a time subordinator in the same clause. It is impossible and always will be grammatically correct. 100%, no weird exceptions to that rule.
Yes, which of the two are a subordinate, teacher? Is if you don't keep the secret, or I won't talk to you? I think the first one is that if you don't keep the secret, and after I won't talk to you, no? Or no?
If is called a subordinator. It introduces a subordinate clause. There are other subordinators that are not time subordinators, like because. If okay, because you will be late, I will also be late. That's no problem. I can use will with because. I cannot use will with if, ever. I'm just making a point there. Okay, moving on. Sandra, number 4. Can you try this one?
If he leaves, no, I will never talk to him again.
Okay, and here we're using never as our negative. That's perfect. Never talked. Yeah. Have you ever said that before in real life, Sandra? Never mind. It's too personal. All right, Ken, can you try number 5? Whoops.
Number 5. If you leave, if he leaves now.
What?
Number 5.
5.
Okay. If you if you students work hard, their result will be a lot better.
Okay, and it simply will be. All right, that's it. Okay, and Roberto, last one.
If you wait a minute, she will be here with Jack.
She will be here. Okay, that's it. Okay, I think we've got the first conditional down. We're going to move on to the second conditional. Change my information here slightly. Hang on. All right.
Can I make you a question, teacher?
Yes.
But the verb wait, no? It's not to use the preposition for when it's possible to use the preposition wait for or not. In this case, there isn't the preposition for after the verb to wait. This the preceding sentence.
Okay, hang on. Wait a minute.
If you wait for him or wait him.
If you wait a minute, she will be here with Jack is fine. If you wait for a minute, that would also be correct. You actually have an option here. You could do it either way.
I can use or not use for to use for or not.
In this case, yeah. Yeah. Now, you cannot say, like, if you wait Bob. You would have to say, if you wait for Bob, he will be here in a minute. All right. In this case, this is perfectly fine without for. But if you have
more correct to say to wait a minute or to wait for a minute.
That's a good question. I really don't know the answer to that. I don't think it matters whatsoever. I just think it's one of those things. It's up to the speaker rule. Okay, moving on to conditional number 2. All right, or the unreal condition. Call it conditional, second conditional, or the unreal conditional, whatever you please. It is used for the unreal, or what this, again, it all depends what the speaker believes. What the speaker believes are impossible or highly improbable situations. This condition, the idea of this conditional is to provide an imaginary result for an imaginary condition. Okay, because you are dealing with what is called the special things to note about this. All right. Because it's imaginary, we need the subjunctive mood instead of the indicative mood. And so one weird little thing that happens is the verb to be, when used in the second conditional, because it's imaginary, unreal, is always conjugated as were. And it doesn't, now here, it does not matter he were, she were, it were, I were, they were. It doesn't matter what your subject noun is. It's always conjugated the same way as were. So that's definitely a little curiosity to keep in mind. Also, and that's really the same, because it's subjunctive mood, is also the same exact reason that you need to use would instead of will, because that's what we do in the subjunctive mood. Okay, so here are some examples. If he studied more, he would pass the exam. Note the change in verb tense in the condition. Past tense. Studied, not studies more, but studied more. And because it is subjunctive mood, we change the will to would. He would pass the exam. This is to indicate that the speaker believes it's imaginary. Interestingly, it's very interesting if you really think about this deeply, because how the speaker says something can show things they're really not saying. For example, if the speaker believed that he would probably study more, that the person, there's a likelihood the person would study, he would probably use the first conditional. If he studies more, he will pass the exam. If the person doesn't, the speaker does not believe the person is going to study more, he may choose to use the second conditional. Kind of interesting. It kind of tells us what the speaker is thinking. Is the speaker thinking this is a real possibility or an unreal possibility? Sometimes it may give away how the person really feels about something. Notice the second example. I would lower taxes if I were the president. Of course, I were the president. I was the president. I am the president. Obviously, this is a little bit of a strange verb, subject, verb conjugation, but here's the verb to be. It's always going to be were. Again, as always, we can have the condition first or second in the sentence. We can switch the clauses. It makes no difference. So there it is. All right. Past simple in the if clause, followed by a comma if the if clause is first. You can also put the result clause without a comma. If they had more money, they would buy a new house. They would buy a new house if they had more money. There it is. Okay, that's the second conditional, to talk about imaginary things. Now notice what we're really talking about. He would pass the exam. I would lower taxes. They would buy a new house. We are still talking about the future here. So keep that in mind. Both the real and unreal condition, we're actually talking about the present or the future. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can give this another look. Contrary to the fact. All right. Okay, hang on. I'm going to share some more information here, and then we'll try some more exercises with the second conditional. All right. If I taught this class, I wouldn't give tests. Okay. The truth is, the real truth is, the person that can say this because they don't teach the class. They can say it this way. All right. If he were here right now, he would help us. In truth, he's not here right now, is the idea. Very common phrasing, if I were you, is very commonly used second conditional. If I were you, I would do whatever. If I were you, I would accept their invitation in the example here. In truth, I am not you. All right. And we already talked about using were for the verb to be. Okay. Let's see. Let's juice it up a little. Let's add a little spice and kind of change some of these sentences around. So you're going to have to pay attention. Are we using the first or the second conditional here? As in the first example, you'll use the verb in parentheses. You need to have the correct phrasing. If I have enough apples, I will bake an apple pie this afternoon. Nidair, number 2. Nidair. If I had enough apples, I would bake. Okay, sure. All right, notice the difference, past tense, present tense with the sentence above it, will, would. All right, very good. Don, can you try number 3?
If I will fix your bicycle, if would have a screwdriver of the size property. Of the property size, sorry.
Of the proper size. Now, you read it wrong. It said, I will fix your bicycle. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I will fix your bicycle with if would have a screwdriver of the proper size.
well, it can't be if I would have. All right. Would in the sentence, we can't have would here because this is the if clause. All right.
Okay, will.
No. See, the will is only in one of the clauses. It can't be in both clauses. Do you see?
Okay.
We can't use a future tense with if. So it's simple present tense. All right? And we need the subject now, and what's missing for some reason. If I have.
If I have. Okay.
That's it. Okay. We can't have would or will after if. Can't do it. Sandra, number 4.
I would fix your basic bicycle if I had a screwdriver of the proper size.
That's it. Okay, very good. Would goes with the past tense. Would with had. All right. Ken, can you try number 5?
Okay. I would make a tomato salad for the picnic tomorrow if the tomato in my garden were ripe.
We're right.
Were ripe.
Okay. Okay. If the tomatoes in my garden are ripe. Why? Okay. These actually. All right. So you're going to use would make. All right. I think there's a mistake here. Yeah, both of these sentences are the same. So you're using were ripe. All right, that's fine. So he changed this verb. I think I made a mistake or whatever on the worksheet here. Okay, good. Thank you for correcting me. That's absolutely correct. All right. Roberto. All right, imagining that R is correct here, how would you do number 6?
Okay, I will make a tomato salad for the picnic tomorrow if the tomatoes in my garden are ripe.
Okay. That's it. Okay. All right. And in most cases, it is possible. There are other possibilities to use instead of will. For example, I am going to make a tomato salad. I'm going to make, or even I'm making a tomato salad for the picnic tomorrow. No, that doesn't work. But I'm going to make would work. It's possible to use the other simple future tense. Okay, midair, number 7. Jack would shave today if he had a sharp razor. All right, had. Good enough. Okay. Okay. All right, I think we made it all the way around. Let's try one more round with a different exercise. Okay, let's try this one time around. Don, can you try number 1 here? Write the correct forms.
If I wear you blank, wear those old jeans.
If I were you, should I use would wear or will wear?
I will wear those old jeans.
Okay, actually, it has to be would.
Would,
Past, if clause, past tense, would in the other clause. If clause, present tense, will in the other clause. Okay. Vincenzo, you want to try number 2?
Isn't it wouldn't?
Oh, wouldn't. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, wouldn't wear.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't really matter. Maybe.
Old jeans, no. Yes.
Vincenzo, maybe you don't like old jeans, but I do. I would choose old jeans
Yes,
with holes in the knees
because you like them.
Because I like them. Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Because I'm a punk rocker. Okay.
Okay, thank
I'm,
you. Allora, Terence.
Okay.
Terence
All right.
would win the championship if we trained harder.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. It's all personal choice, I guess. Sandra, number 3.
Could be. If he was taller, he could be a basketball player.
Okay. And okay, if he was taller. Okay, that's interesting. Past tense, but that's okay. No, he's not taller. The idea is that it's unreal, that he's not taller. So we have no choice but to use were. The verb to be will always conjugate as were. Every time.
Okay, every time. Okay.
Every time. Okay, notice instead of he would be a basketball player, notice we have could. This is also possible. There's nothing wrong with that. The idea being that you could, meaning he'd be physically able. Okay, we can use this different modal here. It is possible to use could in our result clause in such a case.
There is a slight difference, no?
Slight difference, well, because would and could are different. Could means could means either one of many possible possibilities without nothing to do with probability, how likely it is, or it can mean physically able.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead would. Instead.
You could say would there. He would be a basketball player. Yeah, and that the difference is, what would be the difference? If he were taller, he could be a basketball player. That would mean that he would have one option. He's a very, very tall man, so tall people have a chance to play basketball. If I said if he were taller, he would be a basketball player, that means he's very short, but he loves to play basketball. There's a slight difference in meaning.
Okay, yes. Thanks, teacher.
Sure. Sure thing. Ken, can you try number 4?
Number 4, if everybody protested, they would stop killing whales.
Okay. If everybody protested.
Protest.
No,
Protested.
no. You actually think you had it right. A protest, to protest. No, you had it right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Protest.
It's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a verb.
Yeah, it's a verb. That's right. It's one of those. I made a mistake. It's one of those verbs that can be a noun or a verb, and it's 2 syllables. When it's a noun, a protest. When it's a verb, to protest. Okay, so you were absolutely right. Good job. All right. Roberto, try number 5.
The countryside would be more beautiful if people didn't set fire to the forest every year.
What? Crazy. Okay. Would be. Yes. Notice, all right, this is the result clause here. Notice our verb to be after the condition, after the modal is in the base form, as it should be. All right. Very good. That is correct. That was a tricky one. Good job, Roberto. All right. Let's try one more, and then we'll go on to that last tricky conditional number 3. All right. Nader, if you blank smoking, stopped. If you stop smoking, you will feel much better. All right. Very good. Or if you stopped smoking, you would feel much better. Nice. Thank you for the slashes. Right. This one could be very equally, could be spoken with the conditional number 1, the real condition, or conditional number 2, the unreal, and it would work perfectly fine and exactly right. It would depend on your expectations, what you thought about that person who you're speaking to. Absolutely correct. Very good. So that's a good one to end on. Okay, let's go to the last conditional. Number 3. Okay, or third conditional, or referred to as the past conditional, because it only concerns past situations. Remember, I said that conditionals 1 and 2 are actually dealing with the present or future. So this is how we deal with things in the past, when we're imagining if things were different. So imaginary past conditions with imaginary or hypothetical results. All right. Okay, let's take a look. If he had known that, he would have decided differently. All right. Notice the construction. What's true is that he did not know that, and it's already too late. He's already decided, so it's impossible for him to decide differently at this point. And it's also true, what's really true is that he did not know. If he had known that, he would have decided differently. Another example, Jane would have found a new job if she had stayed in Boston. The fact is that she didn't stay in Boston, and now she's gone. She's left Boston. It's in the past. It's too late to change that. Totally hypothetical in the past. Notice the form. It is formed by the use of the past perfect verb tense in the if clause, followed by a comma if the if clause is first. Okay. Would have, and the past participle in the result clause. Okay, so past participle had known. I'm sorry, past perfect. Sorry, past perfect had known, and then would, have, and the past participle. Okay, it would appear. This is called a perfect modal, by the way. It appears like the present perfect tense after the modal. All right. Whichever way you want to think about it is fine. Again, you can always put the result clause first. It's not a big deal. If Alice had won the competition, she didn't. But if she had, life would have changed. Or you can, once again, you can equally say it the other way around. Life would have changed if Alice had won the competition. The only difference is the comma when the if clause is first. Okay, so that's it. The key to remembering these conditionals is really remembering the verb tenses. So let's try an exercise to make sure we got that right. Okay. All right, let's jump right in. All right, this is going to be a little more challenging. Okay, let's see if we got time for a couple exercises here. All right, here we go. All right, Nader, take care. Thanks for popping in. All right, Dawn, back to you. All right, now we've a little more difficult. You put the following words in order to create third conditional sentences.
I'd something. No. I'd have something. The same.
Okay. This is tricky because you have to add the. It doesn't mention this. I'm sorry. It's a little trickier than expected. You have to. You have to add the if clause. All right. Just the words. You only have the words for the result clause. That's the tricky part. That's why it's so hard. So let me help you out. All right.
Okay.
All right. The if clause might be something like this. If I had been him. Now notice the use of the verb to be in this example. Okay. If I had, whoops, I missed the I, sorry. If I had been him, well, obviously you weren't him. Notice the use of the verb to be in the if clause, had been. I'm going to need my comma. Now form me the rest of the sentence, Todd. Okay, just scrambled. These words are scrambled.
Remember?
Scrambled. They're mixed up, so put them in the right order.
I'd have.
Very good. You need the past participle of the verb.
The same.
We need to have them in order. Would, have, and the past participle of the verb.
Had.
I'd have said is the verb, the main verb.
Something.
Okay.
Something.
Okay. And the challenge here, the difficulty here is that, in fact, we don't have the if clause, so you have to make your own if clause. Vincenzo, you want to try out number 2?
Wait a moment. Would have no. He said.
Okay. For example,
If I would have said no. No. I would. If I would have said.
well, we need the if clause is the problem.
If he would have said no.
Now we can't use the would with the if.
If
This is very difficult.
Hadn't said no. No, if he had, let me say in the positive. If he had said no.
Okay. All right.
I don't know in this case. I'm not sure. I had said no.
Okay. Let me see it. You guys need some help. Okay. So the only clause we have here, number 2. All right. Let me just separate this. He would. Maybe we should do it backwards. He would have said no is the only thing that makes sense in the result clause. It's the only thing that makes sense because we only have these words, and this verb order has got to be like this. So what could our if clause be? What makes sense? He would have said no.
If he had said no?
Yeah, we can't be if he had said no, he would have said no, because that doesn't make much sense. I'll give you an example. If he had been asked, okay, he would have said no.
Okay.
Okay.
He had been asked, yes.
All right.
He would have said no.
Now, notice what I've done here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of
I
taking
don't see
over.
the verb in the first.
None of this part is there. I'm asking you to make up all of that.
To make up, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I did want to show you this before the class is over because we're almost done. I did want to show you this because the other thing I'm doing here is I'm actually using a passive. Somebody asks the subject noun. So this is what that's going to look like. It is possible to use a passive construction in the if clause. Yeah, that's perfectly fine to do that. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna help you out here. Let's see, Sandra, you want to give this a try? Maybe do it backwards. Give me the result clause first, and then see if you can figure out the if clause.
Okay. If they have accept
Okay.
Accept, yeah. They wouldn't have I don't know.
Yeah. They wouldn't have gone. Okay.
Okay, gone.
All right. See, you only have the result clause. They wouldn't have accepted is the result clause. That's the idea. All right. At least your sentence makes sense. I guess this is a little too difficult. Okay, Ken, you want to give it a try? Again, it might be easier to unscramble the result clause and then think what logical if clause would work with it.
What I've said. It would have gone. The question form.
Yes, it
What?
is.
If what would you say?
What
No,
would you have
I
said?
said. If you have said,
So what would the if clause be?
if 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 I uh, won the if I had won the lottery, what would you have said?
Okay, that's interesting. Didn't even think of that. If I had won the lottery, what would you have said? Okay, that's possible. Okay, very good. Excellent. All right. Very good job, Ken. You're a winner. Roberto, you want to try the last one here?
Okay, I could have tried this
Okay.
if they had cheered me.
Okay, he's doing it another way. That's great. I could have tried this if, sorry, they
If
had,
they cheered.
I don't know what word you're using.
Cheered. I don't know the past of this verb.
Can you
Encourage. Cheers.
encouraged?
Wait, yes.
No? Yeah. If okay, so what is the verb form here?
Had
Yes.
encouraged in the past.
Okay. I could have tried this if they had encouraged me. Okay. All right. I guess that would probably work. That was very difficult. All right, we're about out of time, but maybe one more. All right. This could be any tense. So, Don, it could be first, second, or third conditional, in other words. Don, what should this be? You have the verb have. Don, are you there? Oh, okay,
Yes, sorry.
I'm not sure where Don went.
Uh,
If I have enough money, okay, well, I'm sorry, Don, we're out of time now. If I have enough money, I will go with you. If I had enough money, I would go with you. Or if I had, and yes, that is more than possible, had enough money, I would have gone with you. There's first, second, and third conditional right in a row, right there. That's it. Classic forms. Okay. I'm afraid we are out of time now, however, so I have to go. Got another class to get to, so thank you very